Welcome to the leadoff spot on MLB Network Radio and now live on TV as well. Xavier Scruggs, Steve Phillips here with you. And we generally start off the 9 o'clock hour taking around the bases today on all the top stories of the day. And oh my goodness, do we have a top story? I don't know if you've heard, but World Series Game 3 went 18 innings yesterday, tying a record for the longest World Series game. 609 pitches later. Absolutely nuts. And so we kick it off with the home run, and that is Freddie Freeman capping off Game 3 in the 18th inning. 6 hours and 40 minutes later with a walk-off home run.
Left field, carrying back, it is out of here! Ohtani stays on one!
He's a unicorn. It's just, there's no more adjectives you can describe Shohei. It's 4 for 4, 5 walks. He finally got the pitch 2 in his last at bat, and he still had the patience to not be trying to do too much and get on base. He's just incredible.
Full count on Freeman. Little delivers. Freeman gets one high in the air. Straight away center. Mr. World Series ends the marathon at midnight.
It's one of the greatest World Series games of all time. Emotional, spent emotionally. We got a ball game later tonight, which is crazy. There's just a lot of heroes tonight. Obviously, Freddie put the exclamation mark on the game, but you see what Will Klein did.
We heard sound there from Freddie Freeman himself and Dave Roberts, manager of the Dodgers. Steve, this was one of the most historic games that we'll ever see. Whether you are a casual fan or an adamant baseball fan, a long-lived baseball fan, this was an exciting game for 18 innings. Ultimately, Freddie Freeman put us all to sleep. Thank God. I couldn't wait to go to sleep, but I had to keep my eyes open. Freddie Freeman in the 18th inning, he's now done it again. You go back to Game 1 of the 2024 World Series last year, doing it in the 10th inning, the walk-off grand slam. He walks us off again in the bottom of the 18th inning off of Little there. Yeah, that to me too, Steve. If I can just... The focus, the understanding of what you're going to get left on left in that situation, staying on the sinker that ultimately was probably the best pitch he saw in that at-bat to give them the game, Steve. There was a lot in this game, but ultimately came down to Freddie Freeman being the same dude we've seen for the past almost decade and a half, right, in this game of baseball. Mr. Consistency, Mr. World Series, as you heard it, Freddie Freeman finishes them off in Game 3.
It started off such a negative way for the Blue Jays in that first inning. With Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
You mean 6 hours earlier?
Yeah, 6 hours earlier. It started off a little weird, where you end up with, I guess it was the second inning, with Bo Bichette, reaching base, and then Dalton Varsho taking a pitch that should have been called ball 4, but Mark Wagner, the home plate umpire, missed it. But Varsho assumed that it was a walk, and he threw the bat down, started going down, and Wagner's call was very slow, where he'll signal strike with his hand, but he won't say strike right away. And so Bichette at first base saw the pitch, and clearly it looked like a ball to him for ball 4. So he started wandering off the base, and he turns his back to home plate a little bit, and then realizes, oh wait, the umpire called it a strike, but Will Smith had thrown the ball back to the top of the glass. Now he throws it over to first base, and they get Bichette out there. And so it was a bad call by Wagner. Next year, the ABS system will be called into play to challenge that, but it still might not. Maybe it would save Bichette if they got him out there, because if you challenge it right away, then if he wanders off the base and he shouldn't, I wonder how they manage that situation. Right. But for another year. But then it was Teoscar Hernandez with a solo home run for the Dodgers to put up 1-0. Ohtani homering to put them up 2-0. And then Alejandro Kirk coming up with a big 3-run home run in that 4th inning that put the Blue Jays ahead. They tack on another run in that inning. They go up 4-2, and it felt like what the Blue Jays have done the entire postseason. They fall behind early, they take a lead, and then they scramble to try to hold on to it.
It really did, Steve. I felt like they had taken the momentum at that point. And when I look at Alejandro Kirk and what he's done recently this postseason, it's almost like he's picking and choosing his spots to let it eat. And I love when hitters kind of recognize that opportunity. I go back to that bat against Glasnow, and he gave them the 3-2 lead with the 3-run home run. He saw and recognized and sat back on a curveball, gave himself a chance. Glasnow's trying to get me over with that curveball, and his getting me over is better than most other guys' curveballs itself. But Alejandro Kirk being ready for that opportunity gave them that momentum, and then scoring on, adding on to that. I almost thought that, at that moment, the Blue Jays looked to take this game, especially with them getting into the bullpen right after that. We talked a lot about that yesterday. You get into the Dodgers bullpen early, you're going to have a great chance.
And really, you get into the Blue Jays bullpen early, you kind of have a pretty good chance, right? Neither bullpen's been that stellar throughout the season or in the postseason. And so they go up 4-2. But then in the 5th inning, Shohei Ohtani gets his 3rd hit of the game. It's his 2nd double. At that point, he's got 2 doubles and a home run. Mason Fluharty's in the game to face Ohtani. He doubles and drives in a run. And then Freddie Freeman, the other left-hander facing Fluharty, comes up with a single to drive in Ohtani. And the next thing you know, we're tied at 4.
Yeah, I think, Steve, you look at those left-on-left at-bats, so impressive with Ohtani. And we talked about this a little earlier. His ability to cover the plate, but also stay inside the baseball. When you start seeing him go opposite field, in which he was off balance early on this postseason. Now, yesterday, watching those at-bats, legs were the foundation, driving balls to the opposite field. Freddie Freeman, another great at-bat you highlighted right there. We just saw 2-strike count, drive something to the right side, able to get around something and put good barrel on it. Those left-on-left at-bats were ultimately a huge difference maker in this game.
No question about that. And so the score tied at 4. Then in the 7th inning, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. gets on base, and Bo Bichette comes to the plate, and he slices one down the right field line that kicks off the side wall, and the audio guy, which I don't even understand why he's on the field to begin with, bounces off of him. Teoscar Hernandez tries to field, but Vladdy, hustling all the way around, scores from first base. The throw a bit offline. Will Smith dives back into tag. Vladdy with the finger touch of home plate. He's safe.
That was a wild slide, Steve. The fact that he almost came up short and then decided to go in with the hand, it almost could have cost him. But Steve, I think Bo Bichette, if you watch him hit, and this is why he's so important to be in this lineup, I've never seen a right-handed hitter do so often, consistently hitting a ball down the first base line. Like, he is one of the best at being able to do that.